Hello and welcome to another episode on our educational channel. Today's episode will be looking at writing. Let's start by looking at the rubrics. It's very important that you understand the rubrics when it comes to writing in order to look out for what you need to focus on when it comes to writing. When it comes to writing, you need to look at one thing. The first thing is your outline, which is where you arrange your ideas. If you add anything to your outline, make sure that you include it in your essay, otherwise you'll be deducted some marks. It's very important that your outline matches the information on your essay. That's why we have an outline. We also have your exposition of ideas and paragraphing. So you need to express your ideas, the way you express your ideas, how coherent they are. Do they fit together? Did you express yourself well? You'll be assessed on that. You'll be assessed on the number of paragraphs. Remember, it's an essay. It should have at least 4 paragraphs. Each paragraph represents a new idea. Every time you have a new idea, you move on to another paragraph. We'll be looking at that more closely. You'll also be assessed on your spelling. Spelling check your words. We'll be looking at how you can use your cups to edit your work. We'll be looking also at grammar. Also, you'll be using your arms and your cups to do that. And finally, one of the most important parts is your handwriting. Did you use clear handwriting? Remember, it represents who you are as a writer. If you have clear handwriting, the person correcting your essay is going to see a reflection of who you are. They'll find it easier to read what you've written, and there won't be any misunderstanding on both parts. So let's get started. Today we'll be looking at writing in a different perspective. We'll try to look at writing the same way as we look at a burger. It's all about what's inside the burger. You can have a plain burger and you can have a plain essay. The most important part is what you put inside, and that's what makes up an essay. Writing is a process, and the same thing goes for an argumentative essay. If you want to make an argument, you have to put the right information. You have to tackle it in a certain way. Otherwise, it will be just plain, and that's not what we want. Let's look at the first part. Just as in a burger, you have a bun, we have our introduction. The bun, it makes it up. Your introduction represents what you're going to write. In your introduction, you're going to include your hook and your claim. Your claim is your opinion on the topic. So they'll present you with a topic, and you have to present us with a claim based on your opinion of that topic. Then we have our first body 1, where you're going to add your claim, provide reasons to why you said that, explain and give examples, evidence to why you said what you said. We'll then move on to body 2, where you add the counterclaim, the opposing view. Provide us with explanation, example, and say why your claim is different from the counterclaim, and why your claim is the correct one. This is what we're trying to achieve in an argumentative essay. And finally, it brings us to the conclusion. In the conclusion, you can either paraphrase introduction or summarize the whole essay. It's really up to you, because writing is a process. We need to look at the steps included. The first thing you need to do is read the question and start outlining. Write down your outline, include all the ideas. Once you've brainstormed and put it down in your outline, we'll move on the second step, which is drafting. You start by writing a draft based on the information from the outline. And then you'll go on to revising. You revise your work, revise the content, what's inside the essay. And then after you've revised, you'll move on to editing. You'll use your cups here, and then finally, you're ready to publish. Let's take this step by step. Look at the question. The first thing, the most important thing, is that you look at the question. More and more people are interested in migration. This is the topic, migration. People are interested in it. They believe migration makes life easier. This is the idea at hand. They're presenting you with this idea that people believe migration makes life easier. What's the task? In not less than 14 sentences, so you have 14 sentences and more, you have to write around 160 words, plan and write your essay showing your point of view on this topic. What's the topic? Migration makes life easier. So you have to write your view on that. Let's start with brainstorming. The first thing you need to do is to gather your ideas. What do you think? What are you thinking? Ideas on that. Put them in sequence, organize them in sequence, and put them where? In your outline. Excellent. So let's think about it logically, step by step. Plan and write an essay discussing the arguments for and against migration and show your opinion. Your opinion is important. So you'll ask yourself, am I with or against migration? Do I think it makes life easier? What's my claim? And you write your opinion and your claim. So you'll say something like, I am with migration for a number of reasons, or I'm against migration. It depends on your opinion. The opinion we're using here in this lesson is that we're with. So we'll say, I'm with migration for a number of reasons. And you write down your reason 1, and your examples, reason 2, and your examples. It's getting all together. It's one step at a time. And then you think about, now we're done with body 1, we'll move on to body 2, and you think about the counterclaim. What's the counterclaim? Is there a rebuttal? What do I mean by a rebuttal? For example, if I tell you migration is good, you have to find another opinion that shows the opposite of that. But I have to provide a reason. Let's use burgers. If I say burgers make you fat, or burgers make you gain weight, I think burgers make you gain weight. This is, a topic. I'm going to provide a rebuttal. And I'll say, but if you eat it once a month, you won't gain weight. See, this is what we do when we provide the counterclaim and the rebuttal. You provide the opposing view, the other point of view, and we provide a rebuttal. We show why that view is wrong. And you provide reasons and examples. Very simple. Once you've done that, we move on to the final part, which is the conclusion. Now, we'll do the same thing as that I just explained, using the question about migration and filling in our outline. So we take the first part, the introduction. We'll add in the introduction our hook and our claim. So we'll say, migration is a good idea. That's my claim. Now I have to use that claim in my body and provide reasons and examples. So I'll say, migration is good. It has many advantages. For example, you may have good education where you are, but you're seeking something different. That's why you decided to migrate, or a better job opportunity. It all depends on what you're providing. And then we'll move on to body 2, our counterclaim and our rebuttal. And we'll say, on the other hand, mention a disadvantage of migration and provide a rebuttal and prove why that is incorrect. And that brings us to the conclusion, where we said we either paraphrase our introduction or summarize the information in body 1 and body 2. Once you've done that, you start drafting. You start using that information and writing it down, putting it on paper. Just organize the information. Once we've done with writing, you'll have a sample as follows. You'll have your essay. Now, focus here and notice that there are some mistakes because we're not done. This is just a draft. And your job is to find the mistakes, to revise, and then edit. And that's how writing works. You don't just have the correct copy or the final copy without going through the process. So we start with revising. What do I mean by revising? Revising is to look at the content of the information. So we're going to be using our arms. Our arms means we're going to add words, remove unnecessary words, move a sentence. Maybe it should be at the beginning, it should be at the end, or substitute a sentence or a word for another. You don't need to do the whole thing if you haven't done a mistake or made a mistake in your essay. You just need to look at the essay and try to figure out what you need to do. Let's look at the introduction here. In our introduction, we said migration means movement. It's the movement by people from one place to another. People migrate for different reasons. Here I have an unnecessary sentence. Do I need to say migration means movement? Because I've already said it's movement from one place to another. So I'll remove that sentence and I'll change my introduction and I'll say migration is the movement by people from one place to another. People migrate for different reasons. And I made my sentence simpler and my introduction more appealing. Then I'll continue reading. Some people support migration while others are against it. Now here, this is just a general idea. Where's my opinion? Where's my claim here? I need to add my point of view, so I'm going to add it. And I'll say, I believe that migration can help people improve their living conditions. Here, my point of view is available, it's present. Once you've done that for the rest of the essay, you're going to edit your work. You're going to edit your work by using your cups. How can we do that? We can look at each letter separately. We'll capitalize sentences, the beginning of a sentence, names of people, names of places, months, and titles. That's what we'll do for capitalization. We'll also look at the usage of words. Did we use verbs where we need to use verbs? Did we use nouns correctly? Adverbs, adjectives, all of these things. We'll look at how we use them. We'll look at punctuations, full stops, commas, exclamation marks, and finally, we'll look at the spelling of words. So let's look at capital letters. Again, when do we use a capital letter? Months, names, days of the week, titles, beginning of a sentence, and after a full stop. Can you spot the mistake in this sentence? Look at it. I visited Buckingham Palace. Is there a mistake here? Imagine you're editing your work. What would you do? Buckingham Palace is a place. As it's a place, we have to capitalize it. So we'll say capital B, capital P, because we capitalize the name of places. Look at the second sentence. My birthday is on the 24th of March. What's missing here? Do we have a month? Obviously, March is a month, so we have to capitalize months. The next example here we have is I like football and basketball. What's missing in the sentence? I like football and basketball. What should we add at the end of the sentence? We need to add a full stop. A full stop comes after the end of a sentence. Now we come to commas. Commas sometimes are confusing. However, you need to know why we use them. So we have three things. It's a list. We want to separate them. We're going to use a comma after each thing. We can also use a comma to separate an introductory word. For example, if we start with moreover, we have to follow it by comma. In addition, comma. So after an introductory word. And we also use commas after combining words like but, for, nor, yet, and so. Very simple. Let's look at the first example and see why commas are really important. Let's eat grandma. What does this mean? Are we going to eat grandma? No. That's why we need a comma. We need a comma here to separate a sentence, to change the meaning. Here, it totally changes the meaning. Let's eat, comma, break, take a breath. Let's eat grandma. You're addressing grandma here. Let's look at the next sentence. Here I have a list of three things. Where are they? Burger, French fries, and juice. And that's where you add your commas. What about the introductory word moreover? Do you need to add a comma here? Excellent. So you add a comma after moreover, after burger, after French fries, and that's it. So you have the full sentence here, the final sentence. Moreover, comma. I had a burger, comma, French fries, comma, and juice for lunch. And notice what else is missing in this sentence. You have your full stop at the end of the sentence. It's important to have a full stop. Let's get back to our essay. Here we're going to use our cups to look at the essay and make sure, is there anything or any place where we need to add capital letters or commas, full stop, and so on. Look at the first one. Migration is the movement of people from one place to another, comma. What's here? What do you notice? Look at the M, the first letter. It's the beginning of a sentence. It's important to add a capital letter. Once you've done that, look at the next part. Here we have also the other sentence, the I, should also be capitalized because it comes after a full stop and it's the beginning of a sentence. So we'll capitalize the M, we'll capitalize the I. Let's look at punctuation, full stops and commas. What else? What do we need to do? What do you notice? Look at the bottom. For its bright side. Now this is an introductory. We're introducing something. So we'll say, for its bright side, comma. So let's continue looking at our sentence. Let's read it to the end. Migration is the movement by people from one place to another, comma. People migrate for different reasons. Now this is a different sentence. People migrate for different reasons, as nothing related to migration is the movement. So we should add a full stop instead of a comma for another. So migration is the movement by people from one place to another, full stop. As we added a full stop, it's important to change the P in people to a capital letter. So we'll say people. Now, what do you notice about the word people? Is there a spelling mistake here? Obviously, the E is missing and we'll add the E. Are there any other spelling mistakes in your essay or in your paragraph? Look at it. What do you notice? Look at the last word. We have the word friends. I before E except after C. This is a rule. I before E except after C. So friends here should be F-R-I-E-N-D-S. Here we edited our spelling. That makes us ready for publishing. Now you're ready to publish your work, to publish your essay. And your essay will look something like this. 4 paragraphs. Each paragraph is indented. You have the correct punctuation. You have the correct capitalization. You've checked, you've edited, you've revised your work, and it's ready, and you can hand it in feeling proud of yourself. This brings us to the end of our episode. In this episode, we looked at an argumentative essay. We looked at how we write our introduction, how we write our body 1, how to include the claim, provide reasons, explanations, and examples, how to write body 2 and include our counterclaim and our rebuttal, how to write our conclusion, make sure we paraphrased and summarized, editing our work and revising our work using our arms and our cups. Thank you for watching, and I hope this was useful.